Okay, I know it's been a while since I put a video up. I wanted to get a microphone, and it took me a lot longer to finish this car than I thought. So thank you to the YouTuber that suggested I get a microphone. Hopefully you can hear me a lot better now. Still just using an iPad to make these videos. Okay, moving on. So this is a Kyosho Landjump that I showed in a previous video that I was working on, where I tried to explain how the servo linkages go and how they're set up. And here we are, what I'm considering finished for the moment. Go over a couple of the things that I did to it to make it unique, mine, however you want to call it. There's a lot of nice Kyosho Landjumps across the world, so I'm hoping this is one of them, at least. So first off, the thing you might notice is the driver. I wish I could tell you off the top of my head who that helmet is from. I can tell you that it's manufactured by Minichamps when they were making 1/8 scale helmets. They're very nice. The size is quite agreeable with the driver figure. The driver figure is going to be tough to find. I don't know why this is looking so blown out right now. There's probably some kind of adjustment on my iPad that I'm just not using. Just bear with me one second. I'll try to close the blinds while giving you a nice far away shot from this. See if this helps. Changes the color gamut, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. At any rate, okay, you can see the figure a little bit better now. That's a scale driver from a Marui Coors Thunderbird. Hasn't been available for quite some time. Way back in the day, I saw them when the car was current. I'm dating and aging myself quite a bit now. And I really liked them, so I picked up several of them. And it worked quite well, I thought, for this. His arms are just a little short. Probably I could mount the driver just a little bit more forward, but I had hoped to make an instrument cluster here that came out almost like an extension of this, like a dash with gauges almost. So we'll see. So okay, so that's Marui Coors driver, which interestingly enough is a 1/10 scale car, this being 1/8, but it's very close to the factory driver that has been cut out of here. I just was never happy with the detail on these bodies. So you can get these bodies from, I believe he's Marwan RC. I believe he's in Kuwait. Don't let that scare you. International shipping can be a bear. This was all bought a couple of years ago. I found him online and purchased a couple of these shells because I wasn't too confident that I could cut this out and do it the way I wanted to do it. The only other modification regarding the driver area is to get yourself a head from, I believe that this guy is from 21st Century Toys. Those figures are 1/6, I believe, like an old G.I. Joe head or an old Ken doll head. So, but depending on the manufacturer, they're oftentimes, I want to say, kind of squishy. So basically just cut the head out and push him in there. I'm not even sure if I glued him or not, but it wasn't bad. I'm really not such a great painter. I don't have any 3D printers. Maybe someday. All that stuff could be done, probably done a better job than I could do by just cheating with this, so to speak. But it's an easy way to do it if you don't have a whole lot of resources on hand. And they're not terribly expensive. I think you could probably just jump on eBay and find literally just a head and cut that down carefully, obviously. Okay, so that's the driver. Cut this out. He's attached to the radio box with a magnet, so he's on there pretty good. I would tend to think you could race him with this, with him in place. I'm gonna keep this as a shelfer, so I'm not too worried about that. And what else could we go over? Okay, next up, the shocks. I think I mentioned it in another video. This is just Tamiya clear red over the stock shocks, the old original equipment Landjump shocks. Polish them up first, clean them with acetone or something similar. You don't want any grease or any oil residue before you do this. Bear in mind, okay, this is not my tip. I came across this, I believe, in either another video or internet general search. But thank you to whomever gave me that idea. I wish I could give you a credit right now. But at any rate, okay, so that in mind, you could see it matches pretty well to Kyosho shocks, the way they were designed. The only thing I could say is they're very fragile to finish once you do it that way. So a true translucent or clear powder coat that's tinted would probably be much better. Anodizing them would probably be even more true to what they're supposed to be. But for a shelfer that this is going to be, I think it's fine. It's good enough for me. This was actually not in the best shape when I got it, believe it or not. There was quite a bit of surface rust on things. These shocks would look terrible before I did this. Someone had used incorrect pliers on the bottoms there where you see where you unscrew it. So I tried to touch that up with a Dremel carefully and sanding. Okay, the only other thing, okay, next step is this. This is just a big wig antenna. You probably recognize it if you're a Tamiya person. They give you two. I used one. I figured I could use it on this. It's obviously not from the correct period, especially for Kyosho period, but I don't believe this is from around that time at all. Landjump is pretty old. I don't know exactly the year, but I do believe it's before Big Wig and before Frog, which use these antennas or very similar. Okay, next is the air filter. Again, that was picked for basically for its size. I wanted to fill up this area here. It always looked very absent to me, very too much of a void. Seems a little silly that the actual head is so much smaller than the air filter, but I thought it looked okay. Again, this is a shelfer, so I'm not worried about the performance of this filter. It's my understanding that these type of filters are not really that great to use if you're going to turn this into a runner. So just bear that in mind. You could always pop it off, put a proper one on for running, and put this back on for display, I suppose. Okay, so that. Next is the radiator. Again, I was just looking to fill up the space here. If you're looking to do this, you want to do it as a shelfer. That's the only way I could really recommend it, because I don't think I'm fairly certain on this that the engine's carb is not going to draw enough vacuum to pull from your fuel tank back here through your filter and then through this maze. And not that your fuel would need to be cooled really anyway, but I thought it made it look a little nicer, so this is what we did. I found that pretty cheap on eBay as well. TCS micropumps, if you want to look it up, that would be the company you would be looking for. This was quite cheap, so I would not pay full retail for it. I can't tell you offhand what it cost. I can tell you that it was considerably cheaper to find one that nobody wanted anymore on eBay. Plus, I didn't have to order it from the UK, which I believe that is where they are based. Okay, I believe this is a Saito air filter. Fuel filter. So if you look that up, again, I'm not familiar enough with nitros. I ran them years ago. Is this a good choice filter-wise for this motor? I really couldn't tell you. I would assume it would work. All we did was just drill a tiny hole, heaven forbid. But we drilled a hole, the bottom here, tapped it very carefully. Don't pierce the top of your roll cage. And that gives us a mounting point for the ear. This little tab, this black tab that you can see where it mounts, that comes with the fuel filter. So that's a nice bonus if you decide to do this. Again, I just was trying to go for a more scale appearance. And that's pretty much the whole tour. The only other thing I could think to mention is my custom-made little roll bar. You can see, as far as appearance, I guess it's good. I was happy with it, but obviously it's not going to perform the way the main roll cage is. It's just for looks. And that's about it. That's all I could tell you. The radio box was in bad shape. I filled it, painted it. Looks like we got pretty decent. That's about the whole tour. These are, if you're a Kyosho person, these are Kyosho Scorpion Rears. They fit pretty well on here. No spacers. It's got a bit of an extra axle here that the factory ones would not have, but it's not too noticeable. This one actually came with new old stock original tires and wheels, but I just wasn't a big fan of how it looked, so threw these on here. And that's it. That's about the whole tour. Try to give you one shot. There you go. Alright, that's it. Sorry for the long update. You got any questions about this car in this video, just ask me down in the comments below. Oh, the last thing. The body is also mounted with magnets. It's just a plate, thin plate of steel here. And then on the underside of the lid, we have magnets epoxied in there. And they're a high strength magnet, so it grabs it plenty. You can see. You can kind of hear it, but pulls itself back down again. Again, that should be good enough for running. I'm not planning on running this. I just was trying to avoid any other type of mounting that might not look so clean. Body pins and stuff like that. Okay. All right, that's it. All right, thanks.